This is day 18 of the 100-day project. So we're on day 18, and I have to share my face is red. Like, I'm so flushed because I just got off a call with my hola, hola. I just got off a call with my memoir mentor, and I'm hot, like I'm heated, and I'm hot in a good way because I got so much from that phone call. And I got so much reflected back to me about my work, and in the sense of like a bigger picture that I couldn't necessarily get to because I was so in it. And as soon as I got off the call, I was like, oh my God, I need to go live and share this idea with you of finding good mentors or having good mentors in your life. And the difference between like a mentor and a coach. And while I love both and I've had both, this mentor, like having a writing mentor or being a mentor, like that's what I want to live into, for folks. For me, feels like it's letting the people that you are in conversation with lead themselves. And then you're just kind of like gently guiding them based on what they are sharing or needing or wanting and desiring. And I've had a lot of coaches, amazing coaches, but I feel like this is the first time that I've been in a mentorship relationship that I wasn't leading, right? That I wasn't the mentor with an apprentice kind of thing. This is the first time like I am a full-blown apprentice student, right? Again, I've had coaches, all the things, but this is like the first time I've really felt what it was like to have a mentor and to be an apprentice to that mentor. And I'm just like, I learned so many things. And I think the biggest piece of like nugget that I learned was that you have to ask and advocate for what you need. But not only that, you have to ask and advocate for like yourself and your art. And here's what I mean by this. So I'm in a 6-month writing memoir mentorship class, right, with other folks. And I thought that it was just like the class, we get together, we read the pieces, it was just that. And then the courses. I didn't realize that you could actually get on the phone and talk one on one with this mentor who's been a mentor in the memoir world for a really long time. And honestly, one of the first books I bought about how to write mentor was hers, or memoir was hers. And so she mentioned in our call on last week on Wednesday that we could get on the phone with her, and talk things out. And I was like, what? What? What do you mean? I can get on the phone and talk to you one on one? Like, I was thinking that in my head. And I was like, I'm more than sure, right? That she said that at the beginning. But in my head, I was like, I put so much separation between like, this is like my mentor and this is this, that, and then me over here, right? Like I can't like cross pollinate I can't like cross these boundaries. And I guess I put that in my head that I didn't remember, I didn't listen. And so I emailed her and I said, I would love to get, I heard you say that you're open, office hours are open. If we want to call and make a appointment with you, we can. And so I did. And that wouldn't have happened had I not asked, had I not been brave enough to advocate for what I wanted. And that was such a big, and I wouldn't have had this epiphany, right? I wouldn't have had this amazing conversation about an art project that I've been trying to do since I was 20 if I didn't email and ask about this aspect of the class. And what I really wanted to bring into our Wild Dream space here is this idea of mentorship and this idea of asking, right? We forget the power of our ask. We forget how powerful it is to simply ask for what it is we want or ask for what it is that we need. What I needed was somebody who was outside of myself to see my story, to see my art, to see what I was doing and help me see it from a bigger perspective, right? As artists and especially as writers and memoirists or people who are writing our own story, we get so in the work. We are so inside the work that we can't see the forest from the trees, right? We can't, we, it's even when we try to detach, we're still tethered to it. And having a mentor or having somebody outside, whether it's a mentor or a friend that you really trust, and we'll talk about that in a minute, um, without having that wide eye lens of somebody to reflect it back to you, then the minutia, the art, the details can get lost. I think about it a lot like the sun and the moon, right? You are the sun shining and your artwork, right? You have your art piece, you're writing your memoir, you're doing these things, and your mentor or a trusted friend who is where you want to be or is in the process of getting where you want to go, who's a wild dreamer themselves, not somebody who like talks shit and all the things, like somebody who is where you want to be, where you want to go, is the moon, right? So when you have a good mentor, you have somebody who's trusted, the relationship between the sun and the moon is that the moon is a reflection of the sun, right? The moon is reflecting the light of the sun. And what a good mentor does is that they will allow the sun to shine, allow you to do your work and talk about your work and all the things, but then they will reflect things back to you that you can't see, right? The sun shines, we see one part of the story. The moon shines and creates a backlight to the other side of the story. And it's in that relationship, right, that our art continues to organically grow. And it just blew my mind today how much this piece that I really, really loved. And it's good, like the story and the argument that I have that I am writing in this memoir. It was good. And she told me it was good. But once she reflected the bigger thing that I couldn't see because I was so attached to it, I was looking at it at the sun on this side when she came in as her moon self and like reflected back to me. She showed me a wider lens. She showed me the complete story of what I was trying to tell. And that just inspired the fuck out of me. And that inspired me to forego our Wild Dream Wednesday that we traditionally do and just share this with you because it feels important. It feels important to all of us as creatives as we move into our work and our art in a time and place where there's just so much noise about followers and TikTok and social media and social political thing, like to have someone that you so deeply trust and resonate with, whether it's a friend, a mentor that you paid, somebody else, but to have that reflection, having somebody to be that moon for you as you create as the sun, the center of your art that you are. So, yeah, that was a very inspiring conversation that I had. And I think the way that we go into that is to ask, is to remember the power of asking. I remember when I created my first magazine. It was called Gag Magazine. It was the world's first haute drag glamour magazine back in like 2014. I remember people were so shocked that I had on the cover, I had RuPaul on the cover, and they were like, oh my God, how did you get RuPaul on the cover? Because RuPaul, this was when like Drag Race was exploding and was becoming RuPaul was, I think it was prior to the Emmys, but he was like becoming really, really big. And they were like, oh my God, you got RuPaul. How'd you get RuPaul? I asked. I literally just sent an email and asked. And of course, RuPaul didn't get back to me. It was their manager, but they said yes. that wouldn't have happened if I didn't ask. And the way that it all kind of feels like it fits together is to find great mentors, to make great art, to do those things that our art needs, right? And that our soul needs to create great art is we have to learn and remember how to ask. And ask in a generous way, and ask in a beautiful way versus like a entitled way. There's different ways to ask, but just the simple act of asking is so powerful in and of itself. So the invitation today is to really kind of feel into those two things. Like, what do I need that I'm not asking for? What do I need to ask for? And where in my artistic journey and my artistic path and my writing path, whatever it is, my wild dream path, where can I use a moon to my sun? Where can I use a mentor to help guide my path and where I want to go? It it's just mind-boggling. And again, like I said, many coaches had lots of coaches, but this dynamic of a mentor is totally different. So that is the invitation for y'all today. Hola, Kevin. So nice for you to join us today. So I will see you tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for being here. I love you, love you, love you. And go and ask. Do one ask today. Like, that's your praxis for today, is what can you ask for today that will inch you closer to the wild dream life, whatever that is for you that you're desiring. I love you all so, so much. I'll see you tomorrow in Lakesh.